So welcome to our small fireside talk about the great conference and the workshops we are having in Stockholm in May 13th to 15th. I'm here with Fredrik Viljesjö as co-chair of the conference, which is organized by Lean Product and Process Development Exchange together with We Are Movement. So the agenda. We have three tracks of workshops on Monday the 13th. We start with Dantar Oosterwal talking about his experiences with lean product and process development, and which is written a very interesting book called The Lean Machine about his time in Harley-Davidson, and he has developed that further in the 7+1 principles for lean product and process development. Going over to Ulrika Thell, talking about evolving the transformation mindsets and operating systems. It always starts with me. What do you say, Fredrik? It's a theme that often is forgotten.
Yeah, I think it's really good that we sort of start off the conference with these kind of subjects of getting into the broader things that we're going to talk about, like lean, so the heritage from lean. We're going to talk about leadership and mindset and what it takes from the organization, and also go into what is Agile? What is Agile sort of bringing to the table when we're talking about these type of things? So I think it's an interesting start with making sure that everyone has a chance to get into these subjects as we're moving on then to the actual sort of conference day after the workshop.
So in the afternoon, we have a half day of Lundh on applying knowledge-based development and his journey and that. And then the third track is with you, Fredrik. What is it about?
Yep. I think it's important that we understand what is Agile when it comes to sort of an enterprise or large scale setting, and making sure that we know both the basics about Agile teams and why that is important, but also the scaling patterns that exist, and the underpinning principles and values that make this work, right? So it's a great sort of introduction to the full subject of using Agile in the larger enterprise.
Good. And then we have the conference day afterwards. And we have on Wednesday, we continue the learning experience, because normally I see the conference as inspiration and the exchange of knowledge. But on the Wednesday, on the workshops, you really get usable knowledge. And here we start up with Fredrik, Jesper, Hoffstedt, and Christian Fredriksson talking about industrialization and integrating product and production system development.
Yeah, I think that this is a really important area to highlight and emphasize, because I think we've been talking about this subject briefly when we talk about how to integrate lean product development into our enterprises. But applying this lens, having this perspective that what we actually are seeking is a continuous way of getting ideas or customer insights into our products, into our production systems, so that the actual product changes for the customer, right? And in the same way, we're going to contrast this or being inspired by the DevOps movement in software to see that we need to invest in the infrastructure needed so that we can, with a lower cost, make changes, not just to the product, but also to the production system, to make sure that we're getting faster actual speed to market, so to speak.
Mm. And we'll continue with Carl Starendal, your colleague, on leading innovation. How direct and indirect leadership skills makes us fit for the future. Quite important topic.
Yeah, I think this is also the one we usually talk about, the importance of leadership, but then, well, what does that mean? So what is modern leadership? What is the science telling us about how we need to behave as leaders to make these types of systems work? Because we both know, right, that both lean and agile demands that we get everyone on board, that people are engaged in their work, and that demands another kind of leadership, maybe compared to more traditional organizational setups.
Mm. And then we continue with Paolo Sammicheli from Italy, talking about how to achieve the industrial agility with Scrum and hardware explained. He's written at least one book on the subject and keeps evolving and using Scrum to get. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see, right? Where he's showing cases where people have been using fast iterations to develop production lines with, like, sort of starting out with some proof of concepts, basically, and with sticks and paper, and then gradually evolving this to an actual working production line. It is, of course, closely related to the concept that we're talking about in general in the conference.
And then we have a half-day workshop with Anand Nicodemus from the Floor Company, and talking about the system called Choosing by Advantages in Design and Engineering, which his colleague presented in a virtual summit. It was quite interesting way of making priorities. And after lunch, we have Rune Kolle Christiansen sharing some of his knowledge of using SAFe, both strengths and weaknesses, and possibly the pitfalls.
Yeah, there's a lot of people trying to use the Scaled Agile framework, right, SAFe, and it's interesting to see both where it works and maybe what kind of things that you need to be on the lookout for when you're trying it out, so to speak. So interesting to hear from Rune there.
Lots